Now, in the secondary treatment of the wastewater, there is the microorganism growth. Now, for the microorganisms, they are not taking only the organic matter as a food, but they want additional some food to them that we call the nutrients. Okay, just like in the human bodies, we are not taking only the food in terms of the fat and protein, but other nutrients also we need. Just like we need iron, we need the magnesium, we need the calcium, but yes, the proportion is less comparing to the protein and the fats which we want. Okay, so this micro for the growth of the microorganisms, definitely we will the microbes need the nutritional some nutrients. And what are that nutrients it is need? So if you see, for the reproduction and the proper functioning of the organisms, it must have a source of energy. One, it must have the source of energy, because for living they need the energy. Okay, to do the work they need the energy, means the consumption of the organic matter and decomposition of it, they need energy. Okay, they need the carbon for the synthesis of the new cellular material. If they want to reproduce themselves, they want to generate a new cell, then they require the carbon for the synthesis of the new cell. They need the nutrients. Which are the nutrients? They need the nitrogen, the phosphorus, potash, sulfur, iron, calcium, magnesium, etc. So the nutrients is additionally we add. If that the reactor doesn't have the nutrients, then additionally we add it. Just like we add the nitrogen, we add the phosphorus, we add the potash. So we take the urea for and put it into the reactor for the nitrogen case. Okay, we put it the sulfur, we put it the potash and potassium. Okay, so that the microorganisms get some nutrients, and when they get the nutrients they are healthy. When they are healthy, definitely there is a more chances of more the rate of increase the decomposition of the organic matter, and again it is useful for their growth of it. Okay. So the nutrients that which is needed to the microbes are is now we are classified the microbes in the phototrophs, chemotrophs, and source of carbon. Okay, so what we say seen that the nutritions are required. Which are the nutrients? These are the nutrients which they want. The source of energy is needed and the carbon is needed. Now we are classifying the microbes in three categories. Which are that? The phototrophs, chemotrophs, and source of carbon. In simple language, when we call the phototrophs, means the light energy. They take the energy, they take the make the food from the with the help of the light. Just like a plant, with the help of the photosynthesis process, they are making their own food with the help of the photosynthesis reaction. Same thing happened with the microbes. Chemotrophs, it means there is required a reaction, a chemical reaction is going on, and from that one they will get the energy, just like a decomposition of the organic matter. So they are decomposing that one in a simple form, and they take energy from the source of carbon. They take the energy from the carbon source. Just like all the organic matter, they have the hydrogen and carbon. So they are consuming the carbon so that they will get energy. Now in detail, we will see with the example what exactly mean by photosynthesis, phototrophs, chemotrophs, and the source of carbon. So first one, it is a phototrophs. Now what is this phototrophs? The phototrophs is the organism those are able to use the light as an energy source. These may be the heterotrophic, which is contain having the sulfur reducing bacteria, just like the example is sulfur reducing bacteria, or autotrophic, means the photosynthetic bacteria and algae. Now we call the phototrophs those organisms which are take the energy from the light or use the light as a source of energy. That is, we call it is a phototrophs. Now these phototrophs is again divided in two parts. It may have the heterotrophic or it may have the autotrophic. When we call the heterotrophic, means they take the energy either from the light or they can take the energy by reducing the sulfur or other contents. So just like the sulfur reducing bacteria, they take the energy from the light, as well as with the help of the reaction. Okay, by reducing the sulfur. So that's why we call it as a heterotropic. And the autotropic means they are purely take the light as a energy. And the example is photosynthetic bacteria or algae. Algae is the plant. They take the energy or they are producing the energy with the help of the photosynthetic reaction. That is, we talk about the phototrophs. What is chemotrophs? Now the chemotrophs is what? It is the organisms that derive their energy from the chemical reaction. So the word itself, it is give the chemo means the chemical reaction is going on. So those organisms, microorganisms or the bacteria, which are taking the energy from the chemical reaction are called the chemotrophs. Now this may be either it may be the heterotropic or it may be the autotropic. So it may be the heterotropic one, this one, or it may be the autotropic. Now what is meant by heterotropic? So those derive energy from the organic matter that we call the heterotropic. Like the example is protozoa, fungi, and the most of the bacteria, they are the heterotropic chemotrophs. Okay. Other one is that those are the autotropic like nitrifying bacteria. It means they are taking the energy from the inorganic one. Okay. So that is we call the autotropic. So reaction is the organic one or inorganic one. Heterotropics from the taking the from the organic one. This is from the inorganic one, autotropic. Okay. So chemoheterotrophs, again the name. So we call this is heterotropic and autotropic. Now there is a one word is the chemoheterotrophs. Now what do you mean by chemoheterotrophs? Are those derive the energy from the oxidation of the organic compounds. So we combine the word chemotrophs and the heterotrophs. It will give a chemotrophs. Okay. So this will give the chemotrophs. Now, what is chemotrophs? Are those derive the energy from the oxidation of the organic compounds. Means the aerobic process takes place, and because of that one, they will collect the energy, they derive the energy. When they are taking the food, they get energy. Ultimately, the decomposition of the organic matter are going on. Next is we call it is a chemoautotrophs. Just like a chemoheterotrophs, there is a chemoautotrophs. Now, what is the chemoautotrophs? These are obtain the energy from the oxidation of reducing the inorganic compound, such as the ammonia, nitrite, and sulfate. In a simple form, we can say that the chemoheterotrophs are derive the energy from the organic compounds, and chemoautotrophs means chemoautotrophs are deriving the energy from the inorganic matter compounds, such as it may have the ammonia, nitrite, sulfide, and all. Okay, so this is the classification. So we are classified on the basis of the photoautotrophs, and they are again derived hetero and auto. Hetero means they taking the energy from the oxidation of the compounds. Autotropics they are taking with the help of the photosynthesis one in a phototrophs. Chemotrophs that we call the chemical reactions is going on. It may be the organic and inorganic. So chemoheterotrophs means organic compound oxidation and the energy taking place the organic compound, and chemoautotrophs it will give the compound the energy is derived with the by the inorganic matter. Okay. Now the another word another classification of the microbes are source of carbon. Means the source of carbon for the synthesis of the new cell could be organic matter, which we call the heterotrophs, or carbon dioxide as a autotrophs. It means they are taking the energy either directly from the organic compounds to generation of the new cell, synthesis of the new cell, or they take the energy from the simple form, that is the carbon dioxide. Means when the organic matter is decomposes, formation of the CO2 and water. Now some of the bacteria are autotrophs. Means they are derived they are doing the source of carbon, they taking the carbon as a source from the CO2, carbon dioxide, means they are to again break out the molecules C and O2. Okay, so that is we call heterotrophs and the autotrophs. Chemotrophs and the source of carbon. So one is phototrophs, chemotrophs, and the source of carbon. Okay. After that, we will see the nutrients and the growth factor requirement. Now, what is the importance of the nutrients and how it is impacting the growth of the microorganisms? So, one of the principal inorganic nutrients required for the microorganisms, which are that nutrients? And the nutrients are the nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, potash, magnesium, calcium, like this one. Some of the nutrients are required in the traces of the amount, such as the zinc, the cobalt, nickel, copper, like this one. Okay, we are talking about the growth of the microorganisms and what is the role of nutrients. Okay, so we are taking the inorganic nutrients like this one, and in some such as small traces, small amount, we are taking these are the some nutrients that we need, that is need for the microbial growth. Okay, if we talk about the organic process, then we have to maintain the ratio of COD is to N is to P. COD means chemical oxygen demand, nitrogen, and phosphorus. What will be the ratio? We always keep the aerobic process, the ratio is 100 is to 10 is to 1 to 1.5. Means the COD is 100%, then the 10% would be the nitrogen, and the phosphorus would be the 1.5 1 to 5%. Okay, it means that if you got the value of COD is 100, then the 10 is the nitrogen and the 1 to 1.5 is the phosphorus is required for aerobic process. Then only there is a the growth of the microorganisms can be takes place. In case of the inorganic, anaerobic, if there is aerobic and if there is an anaerobic condition. Now what happen in anaerobic condition? In this one, what is the ratio? The COD ratio is reduces and it increases, and it would be the 350 for 5 and 1. It means if the value of COD is 350, then the 5 percentage would be the nitrogen, and the 1% is the phosphorus required. So it means the nutrients required in the anaerobic process is less. The nutrients required in anaerobic process is lowest comparing to the aerobic one. Okay, because what is the reason behind? Due to the lower growth rate of the microorganisms as compared to the aerobic one. It means the nutrients which is required for the aerobic process is more comparing to the nutrients which is required for the anaerobic process, because the growth of the microorganisms in the anaerobic process is way less comparing to the growth of the microorganisms in the aerobic process. That's why when we are comparing the aerobic and anaerobic process, you see the more sludge is formed in the aerobic one, because there is more new cell is generated in the aerobic one, but this is not happen in anaerobic process. Okay, now let's see about the types of microbial metabolism. Now another topic is the type of microbial metabolism. Now we know only the aerobic and anaerobic one. Aerobic process is that one where the oxygen is required for the growth of the microorganisms. For the anaerobic one, there is no oxygen required. In absence of the oxygen, the reaction is carried out and there is formation of some new component. Okay, so here in detail, we will see about the different types of microbial metabolism. The one is the aerobic microorganism. The one is aerobic microorganism. Now, what is this aerobic microorganisms? When the molecular oxygen is used as a terminal electron acceptor. Repeat it again. I said when a molecular oxygen is used as a terminal electron acceptor in the respiratory metabolism, it is refers to the aerobic respiration. When the oxygen is a terminal electron acceptor, that is called the aerobic microorganisms. Okay. Another microorganisms, it is anoxic microorganism. Now, what is the anoxic microorganism? We say that respiratory microorganism oxidize inorganic compound such as the sulfate, nitrate, and nitrite can function as an electron acceptor. In the first case, what the electron acceptor is the oxygen molecule. Now, in this case, instead of the oxygen one, we say that oxidize inorganic compound, and these are the function of the acceptor, electron acceptor. And in absence of the molecular oxygen, when there is no molecular oxygen present, that time they are taking or accepting the electron with the help of the sulfate, nitrate, and nitrite. Oxidize. We are oxidizing the sulfate and nitrite, and there is a formation of whatever be the free molecule of that oxygen which we got, and that is the acceptor one. Okay, means there is no direct the oxygen molecules present in it. So that we call anoxic microorganisms. Means they are taking the or they doing the respiration, or they're taking the oxygen molecule by the what we call the oxidization of the inorganic compounds. Oxidization of the inorganic compound. A third one is the obligately anaerobic. Now, what is meant by obligately anaerobic? So these are the microorganisms which generate the energy by the fermentation. Generate the energy by the fermentation, and can be exist in absence of the oxygen. Means there is no oxygen required. So anaerobic processes take place, but what obligately means there is no requirement of the oxygen, and they are getting the energy in the by the fermentation. With the help of the fermentation, they are taking the energy. Okay, and that is called anaerobic microbes. Then facultative anaerobes. It is what these microorganisms have the ability to grow in absence or presence of the oxygen. Now the before one, what we say the obligately, it is what? It is a purely anaerobic process takes place. Means the microorganisms, they doesn't require oxygen. They are taking the oxygen with the help of the fermentation. So they are doing the fermentation process. And from that one, they are taking the energy. That is the obligately. Now in the facultative one, what happened? Either the in presence or in absence of the oxygen. Okay. So these microorganisms have the ability to grow, means take the energy, grow themselves in absence or in presence of the oxygen. Either the oxygen is needed, or if the oxygen is not present, till they can grow, they can take the energy, and they are decomposing the organic matter. And that is called facultative anaerobes. Next is true. This facultative is again divided in two parts. The one is the true facultative anaerobes, and one is the aerotolerant anaerobes. So what is that? Those can be shipped from the fermentative to aerobic respiratory metabolism, depending on the oxygen available or not. Means shifting the microbes into fermentive to the aerobic one. And the aerotolerant is what? Those follow the strictly the fermentative metabolism and are insensitive if the oxygen is present. Okay. In the first case, what happened? They are shifted from the fermentive to the aerobic one. Okay. That is the true facultative anaerobes. In the another case, depending on the oxygen present and absent. If the oxygen present, they go for the aerobic one. But in the aerotolerant, they are strictly follow the first is the fermentative metabolism. First is the fermentative metabolism, and then instinctively they can use the if the oxygen is present in the system. but purely and strictly first they go for the fermentation. That's why we divided a true and the aerotolerant anaerobes. Okay, so this is all about how the microorganisms can be grow, what are the nutrients they required, what is the classification of the microbes. Okay, and the last that we see the types of the microbial metabolism. So the what are the types? There are the five types we seen, four types we seen, which are that aerobic one, anoxic microorganisms, obligately anaerobic, and the facultative anaerobes. So you just remember these four types of the microbial metabolism. Okay, fine.